Hey everybody, it's Dr. Rimka. Thank you for joining me in the Masters group. I'll give it a second. Here's a little thing. We're using StreamYard. I'm going to bring Dr. Jackie Kilraine into the Masters. Okay, awesome. We are live. So the only issue with the way Facebook has set up comments, I don't think I can see comments necessarily on here, but maybe I can, because it says I can't post comments to Facebook groups. I'm a little bit trying to figure it out, but StreamYard's really nice. It's better than Zoom even as far as what we can do and how it records it. So Dr. Jackie is waiting. And as you guys watch, we're going to go over how to use, see, it doesn't tell you, it doesn't put the title in that I like, but if you want to be able to comment, you have to use that link in there in the Facebook group. But we're going to go over heart rate variability in a practice that's about building coherence and how the heart affects the brainwaves. So how you align this affects the brainwaves. This is stuff that I was, originally had intended, and things changed, but this is going to be an awesome part of the course. We're going to tell you about the device we both use that we use in practice on our patients. And then we're also going to talk about another device, another therapy, basically audio visual entrainment. And so these are things you guys can use at home. And right now we're in the coronavirus pandemic, and there's a lot more, this whole course is about stuff that you can have at home and have less dependence upon clinicians. Well, right now, boy, do we need that more than ever. So if this hasn't taught you, it's really important to make investments to have things and devices at home at your own use to supplement when you go to see a clinician. I don't know what is. So I'm going to bring Dr. Jackie in, and she's amazing. And you guys will get to see why I brought her in. She is very similar to me. We practice very, very similar. And so we can talk the same language on and on. Here we go. Hi.
Hello.
All right. So it's a little bit odd how comments and stuff on StreamYard. Is this your first StreamYard you've ever done?
This is the first StreamYard I've ever done. Yes, it is. I think I've watched, but I haven't been on one. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
It's a little different when you post to a group how the comments work, but I will try to watch. And if there's any questions, I'll just tell you about it, and we'll get to that. So you guys, Dr. Jackie Kilraine is a doctor of chiropractic and a neurofeedback therapist. So just like me, she has been involved in the same kind of bizarre journey of becoming a chiropractor and then getting involved in brain stuff and becoming a neurofeedback therapist. And she's also in the Apeiron Academy. And you guys know I've given you a peptide lecture, and I've given you the BPC 157 link for my Apeiron store. She is we have 3 levels of certification in Apeiron. She's a level 1 certified. She's working on her level 2, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have no certifications in this academy yet. So Jackie, as far as that training and that way of doing things, is somebody who would actually end up mentoring me to get trained through that. So, and that deals with epigenetics and looking at your genetic code, which is stuff I've always done as well, but I've done it only for mental health. And so Apeiron takes a more optimization, up-leveling kind of point of view that some of those things I've never learned, and I'm excited, to learn how to be more about optimal health. So Dr. Jackie, I told them briefly, you're a mom, and that you lost your husband, and how that kind of really, we all have things that happen in life that change the way we do things, but why don't you just tell them briefly who you are, because if you guys resonate with her, she's a clinician, and she might be somebody that could help you, like me. And we all can't, there comes times we're full, we have to trade people, and, and I fully support and endorse Jackie. So if you watch this and think, yeah, I need more customized care, she is available to you. So take it away, Dr. Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, like Dr. Rimka said, I am a doctor of chiropractic, and I've been in practice for a long time, like decades.
Like a number.
32 years. Oh my gosh. When I say 32 years, it's just hard to believe. And I love it. And my primary focus in practice was that first patient that just, I couldn't get better with the traditional care. And it was a chronic pain female patient, and she had fibromyalgia, and this was years ago. So nearly everything in my practice is built around that woman with chronic pain, and doing all the conventional things that we normally do in chiropractic. It just didn't work, and she'd already been through the medical route, didn't work either. So that kind of led me down the path of finding neurofeedback, different things that I use in my practice. Use a lot of different things in my practice for those patients. And how I got started in the brain training part was I heard a anesthesiologist give a talk on, it was just on some podcast. It was some weird late night thing I was listening to, just what you do. And I heard the anesthesiologist say, we have to turn down the volume of the pain in the brain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. I was missing that, trying to do all this body work constantly. And I came in the very next day, and I opened up a periodical, and on the table was, I opened up the periodical, and it was an ad for neurofeedback, and it was Dr. Annunziato, who we both know, and I had already taken a course with him and knew him really well. I thought, wow. I called him up that day. I said, I need this. Started doing neurofeedback, really got very good results with my chronic pain patients. Little did I know, of course, you're going to do it on you before you do it on your patients, just to be sure it's legit and it really works. And like Stephanie had said, my husband had died, and it was a year later, and I had really hit rock bottom with that anniversary. And I almost felt like, I would say I felt discombobulated. Like I was so anxious. I was so depressed. I was really thinking about quitting practice. And my brother-in-law said, yeah, why don't you work one more year, and then you can just move out to where your brother lives. I have 4 brothers, and one I'm real close to in California. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work one more year, and then I'm going to quit practice, and I'll move out to California. Well, my brother lives in a monastery. I mean, so that didn't make any sense. Like he was going to come, and I had 2 kids in middle school, so it didn't make any sense. And I love my practice. So I had to do something, and I started doing the neurofeedback, just not thinking I needed it. I thought it was just for chronic pain and my fibromyalgia patients, and it just changed my life. It saved my life. And so I'm a very big advocate for that. And now we just really look for really specialized care for individuals. And that's what led us to the epigenetics, looking at the DNA, and doing the brain entrainment. And now we do things not just to get you out of that symptomatic phase, but then also to get through to optimization. You got to walk the whole path to get there. But yeah, so and all those things are very specific to each individual. So we just love it. I just love it. I'm in a whole different new place, and
awesome.
Love it.
So and Dr. Jackie, you guys, is transitioning her career a little bit, where she's looking at. So tell them where. And my HVAC just came on, and it's so loud, so I'm going to step this thing off. Well, it picks up really bad. Tell them where you're located, and tell them a little bit about, like how the chiropractic, the neurofeedback, and now the epigenetic coaching, and what you can do virtually, and what they can come see you for. And
Okay. Yeah. So I'm in Georgia. I'm in middle Georgia. And I do the neurofeedback, like Stephanie said, and I also do the epigenetics. So the epigenetic is DNA testing. We look at, actually, it's like, how many pages is that report? I think it's like 80 pages. If you get a whole 6-panel report, the 3-panel report, we look at nutrition, supplementation, sleep, and very specific on what works for your body. So you may find that, and especially when I deal with a lot of women who may have anxiety and depression, they have certain genes that we see time and time again, that the certain foods that they eat that may interfere with their sleep, that may make them feel more anxious. And why can't you lose weight? So maybe you can't lose weight because you never feel full, or maybe you can't lose weight because you crave certain things, or there's just, and that you can see in the DNA. So it starts to make sense on why you do what you do. And when you know why you do what you do, then you can work on ways to mitigate it and ways to correct it. So that's part of the
very small things.
Very small things.
I've explained a little bit about like APOE4 in here. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, for the immune system, I said, but hey, here's the thing, you guys, everybody wants to always talk about the bad risks or what that means. And they get afraid of it instead of being empowered by it. And they forget, like I said, hey, but they have way stronger antiviral immune properties as well.
That's right.
So
yeah.
Little details like that we use to help you optimize. Like, wait a minute, let's just make sure you have behaviors. You never have to be doomed to a condition because of it. And it makes you stronger this way. And how do you metabolize caffeine? Is it a slow and or fast or neutral metabolizer? Makes a huge difference in understanding your own body and just little nuances. This is the kind of stuff. Very little nuances, but they help.
They can make such a difference. For me, I had been trying to lose, I went through menopause and I put on a little weight and I was trying to lose this weight and doing all these things until I just found that one, I have a particular GAD gene, which really controls how you convert glutamate to GABA. Anyway, it caused me to not lose weight. When I cut grains out of my diet, I lost 20 pounds in 2 months. It was just that one simple thing. It wasn't a whole lot that I had to do. It was just that, but it was just the knowledge of knowing that and just optimizing lots of little things. So we, do that in the practice too, along with all the brain stuff that we do.
So she's available for that, you guys. We'll drop her links and you can have her website and all that kind of stuff later if you're interested and want to talk with her or learn more with what she does. And again, you don't have to be in here in Georgia, just like me. These things are virtual. We send you kits, you do the genetic test. It's all the kind of stuff that we do. And, we
do virtual brain training. We do neurofeedback virtually. We have home units.
Yeah, there you go. See, I chose not to go into the virtual neurofeedback world, but other folks are like, come on. I'm like, it's not right now. Yeah, people let us do it. That's good. So let's just get right into your little presentation. This is awesome.
Okay.
I've been in some conferences with Jackie. She and I taught. So my continuing ed conference that you saw my videos, you guys that are part of the course, she was also teaching as well. And I think you did neurofeedback, right?
I did.
You did neurofeedback. So I called her up and was like, hey, can you do heart rate variability with me? Because I think she just did something recent. I saw some slides. And then at another conference, she taught an Apeiron when I was in Austin. And the audio vision entrainment. She thought I only said heart rate variability. No big deal. I can
talk about it. I got it.
We can talk about entrainment like this. Go get your device. I own about 5 of those. She owns a bunch. So we're going to tell you about 2 things and how you can purchase them and how you can use them. And you don't need a lot of clinicians and support and training in these. These are self-directed, easy to use things. And of course, if you get them from her, she'll email you, help you a little bit, but it's really simple stuff. They're great things. I use them personally. I've used them in my practice for eons at this point, and we recommend them all the time. So I'm going to pull up the screen. I'm going to put your screen on there. Oops, here we go. And I'm going to let you just take it away. I'm actually going to mute myself, okay? And you just tell me when you're done, and you just give them a little bit of a thing and go for it.
Okay.
All right.
And I can not move this forward, or can I move this forward? Maybe I can I? Did you hear me, Stephanie? I don't, well, I'll talk about the PowerPoint. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to make it.
You do whatever you want.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, I got you. Control your PowerPoint.
I got it. Okay, gotcha. All right, so we are going to talk about heart rate variability, and the reason I like heart rate variability is it's very powerful and it's very easy to do at home, and there's lots of studies on it now, and it's just it can have a really big impact on your health and your stress and your nervous system as well. So one thing I look at is we look at how do you stress. So and we don't want to be one way or another. So you don't want to be all stressed out all the time. You don't want to be running from the saber-toothed tiger all the time. That's not good for you either. And you don't want to be all chill all the time either, because in fact, there's actually some studies that show that they did studies with mice who had everything, had all the food they wanted, and could walk on their little exercise wheel as much as they wanted to. And then they have studies where they were under a little bit of stress. And the ones that were fat and happy, of course, they died a lot younger. than the ones who have a little bit of stress. So they're nervous. You need a little bit of stress, you just don't need too much. But the main thing that heart rate variability looks at is how well your nervous system and your heart and your breath, how your autonomic nervous system responds to its environment. And that's something you can train, and that's what training heart rate variability is. So the heart rate variability is the interval of the space between the heartbeats, and that's controlled by your autonomic nervous system, your parasympathetic, your sympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic is your fight or flight, your parasympathetic is your relax, rest and digest nervous system, and we just need a little balance to that. And typically our sympathetics is just on all the time, and we needed a little bit of a break to it, and the heart rate variability helps to increase your parasympathetic nervous system, your calming nervous system, to kind of put the brake on and off your sympathetic nervous system. So there was a study, and it's still ongoing. It's the longest running study on the heart. It was started in 1949, and it's called the Framingham Heart Study. And they found that heart rate variability was a better predictor for cardiovascular health than your cholesterol, than your blood pressure, than your heart rate. So it's a better predictor of longevity. It's a better predictor of any heart problems. It was a better predictor of, especially if you were going to have a second heart attack. So we all hear a lot about what's your blood pressure, what's your cholesterol, but you don't hear a lot about what's your HRV. And that's from this study, the Framingham Heart Study. It is actually really important, and it's something that you have total control over, that you can really train quite easily. So this is just a little illustration on what heart rate variability is. It's that space between the beats. So, and that means that your heart rate is going to vary. So it could be 68 beats per minute in one instance and 76 beats per minute in another instance. And that's what we want. We don't want you responding to your environment always the same. So like you can think of that as just being real rigid. And if something's very calm, you should just have a more relaxed state. And then when you need to be a little more stressed, your heart rate will go up, but then it'll come back down as well. So that's the main thing. And that's what training your heart rate variability can do. And some things that are, this slide here just shows us what disease processes have been associated with a low heart rate variability. So you want what's called a high rate heart rate variability. So it will vary very quickly and very easily to the stress that you're under. And all of these conditions, hypertension, chronic pain, anxiety, depression, developmental trauma and PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, IBS, asthma, preeclampsia, migraine, these are just the conditions that they have been studied, that training HRV and improving your heart rate variability, increasing it, has been shown to impact these and improve all of these conditions. So if you suffer from any of these, it's just a real good way to help control your nervous system. I treat a lot of patients who have chronic pain. What we see in our brain waves, just to talk a little bit about that too, is people who have fibromyalgia tend to have a high beta brain, and they may be very anxious, and they may lay down at night and they can't shut their brain off, or they have insomnia, they have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So they have this high beta brain. Their whole nervous system is just ramped up all the time. That uses a whole lot of energy, shuts their gut down, so they're really not digesting any food, and they'll have a lot of these symptoms as well. So training HRV is a way to kind of calm down that high beta brain. So you're not really doing a lot. You're not going into an office and doing neurofeedback, but you can just get a heart rate variability device and train that, and you can impact your high beta brain that way as well. Also, just different states too, the high alpha as well. So those are some of the conditions that we see that we can have an impact with by training. So how do you do it? It's basically you find your resonance, what's called your resonance frequency breath, and that is a low and slow breathing. So it's not the big yoga breaths where you're taking a big deep breath in and you're holding it and then you just let it all out. That's not resonance frequency breathing. It's really low and slow. And It varies between 4.5 breaths per minute and 7 breaths per minute. So sometimes you hear, 17 breaths per minute is normal, 21 breaths per minute. But your resonance frequency, where the frequency that if you breathe out and you train that, it helps to increase your heart rate variability. So you just breathe. Most people, it's around like I'm at 6 breaths per minute. So if I do a little heart rate variability training, breathe at 6 breaths per minute, especially if you use a little device, it will measure how your variability is, and it'll give you a little score. But there's some free apps that you can use too that just help pace your breathing to help train it. And as little as 5 minutes a day can help increase your heart rate variability. Would you like to work up to 20 minutes per day? And then you don't want to just practice it when you're sitting in your chair and you're all relaxed. Sometimes you want to, if you're under a little bit of stress, you might practice your heart rate variability too, and just to bring your calm down. So if you know that you're going to have to do a presentation, or you may be nervous about this, or something makes you anxious, if you do a little heart rate variability training, and the better you get at it, the more your nervous system, so it affects your nervous system, the more your nervous system will regulate and respond to the environment that it's in, and not over respond, and not get, it helps calm you too. And so the higher the HRV, usually the better. Because that means it's just more variable. So these are some of the things that we see when you have, this was a study that was done with 11,500 people. And what they found was the higher the heart rate, the variability, it increased the focus by 24%, it increased your sleep by 30%, increased your calmness by 38%. It could decrease your anxiety, your fatigue, and your depression, all those things by training your heart rate variability. So you see, it's a pretty powerful modality that can be very simple. And so the goal is really to improve your self-regulation, which is your autonomic nervous system, your sympathetic and your parasympathetic, just to have that balance and for you to have more control over how you respond to your environment. It increases the flexibility of the autonomic nervous system. And you just want to respond optimally to stress and return back to that normal homeostatic state. And we do that with brain training too. So, this is just another way. It's the interconnection between your heart and your nervous system, and controlled by your breath. So it kind of takes all those things into consideration just to optimize your whole system, give you a lot of control over your system. So that is kind of in a nutshell HRV. And I do have, I use the Heart Math, and they have a lot of good research on their site too. So even if you just go to the Heart Math Institute and check it out, they have a lot of good information and a lot of good info on the science between heart rate variability and how to train heart rate variability. And there are some other apps and stuff that you can look at on your phone as well that help.
Jackie,
help you train too.
The blue, I can't see it. What is the blue?
It says the Heart Math. It's one of the devices. So the one that we use in our clinic is the Heart Math Inner Balance. Yeah. And they have a Bluetooth one, and they have one that's not Bluetooth, and then it's just Expressing Optima.
Okay, so that's what I want to talk about, you guys. So Jackie and I both, I'm a big fan of kind of the original folks. Mm-hmm. Heart Math, without a doubt, is putting more time, energy, money, and research into heart rate variability than anybody around. Anybody else who's coming out with other devices and other apps or whatever, they are just using Heart Math's stuff, in essence. So doesn't mean they're bad guys, doesn't mean it's counterfeit. I'm just letting you know, I'm always a fan of supporting the people who are kind of leading the way. Heart Institute absolutely is leading the way. In many documentaries that you guys will watch, if they're ever talking about this, they are bringing the guys from Heart Math Institute to talk about it. You're going to end up being, oh yeah, I saw that on, this special. Oh yeah, I saw it on Gaia. Oh yeah. So some of you Heart Math, they kind of have led the way in their information. So I personally always encourage my patients to use a Heart Math app versus even downloading something that's free, where I don't know how accurate their tracking is, how if they're really calculating coherence right.
Yeah.
This is a biofeedback kind of a mechanism where do you have one with you by any chance?
I don't have one with me.
No worries.
But
tell them what
you're
it
right.
Looks like
it does.
It'll
Clip on to your ear or some to your finger, and it'll measure that your heart rate and the variability. Yeah, it'll track that, and it actually is more feedback. The more free apps that you see are really just a paced breathing. It's really just for you to practice that breath. So it doesn't really give you the feedback, and it won't tell you your score, and it won't help you train as much as that device. You need something like the heart map to do that.
Yeah. So in our offices, in our computers, the desktop version of this, and any of you could buy it. It's about $400 or something like that, Jackie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Professional is about $400 or $500 that we put on our desktops with every neurofeedback, and you have how we both, I think, typically do it is we use this as kind of a warm up. We get people into coherence and sync up their breath and get this moving, because that heart rate variability, getting it stronger in each session, actually drives and syncs up the brain waves. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So it oxygenates you. So it actually increases oxygenation and blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, which is where your impulse control and your executive functions are. Very important. It's a really powerful way to do that. I often, if I'm training a child, we always have the parents out in the lobby doing heart math. Like we just have iPads. Yeah, that's
a good idea.
Yeah. And so the kids would be doing it. We called it the breathing game for children. Part of what's really important is to just simply, it's about breathing, but it's about syncing up gratitude or a feeling of love or any feel-good emotion. So some people
you try to feel like you're breathing from your heart too, so you can just feel it. Breathing.
Yeah, so they give you kind of instructions, but what I always would find, there's like a guided instruction to how you do this in different visuals and kind of pretty colors or whatever. Or if you're just on a phone or an iPad, it's a very simple, but it's still really, really easy. So it's about $100 for the little device that you buy that's going to feed back into your system, any of your phones or tablets, and it tracks every session, records it. You can graph out your progress. You can watch how you're getting better. You can watch the difference. You can throw it on, see what your heart rate variability is after you just got in a fight with your spouse or whatever. You're like, holy shit, or after you've had wine or a day you didn't get any sleep. You can track.
So track it.
Yeah. So explain that. So wearable device.
So I'll kind of geeky with my watch. So in fact, this will measure my stress. It won't train it, but it'll let me know what my heart rate variability is. And especially one of the first things, if I ever feel like I'm coming down with something or I don't feel well, I'll look at my watch, will say your stress level's really up. I can get on and train my heart rate variability, help bring that back down. Or I can look at that and go, you know what, I didn't sleep real well, and look at my HRV today. Or I was really stressed out, and this is how it affects your body. I'm really big, and I know you are too, Stephanie, on just self-regulation and just having really control over our health. So we can look at the data here, and then I can go, okay, I need to get on and train this. I need to, I should be responding better, or I can see that I'm a little stressed, or maybe I'm trying to come down with something. Let me upregulate my system by, training my HRV.
Right there. Yeah. That takes 5, 10, 15 minutes. Some of my autism parents, they would do it for like a full hour. They lose that moment. They're like, bye, take the child. And I was like, you did it for a whole hour. So it was really an up-leveling, meditative, powerful moment for them. It's really, really easy. If I can get a kid to do 5 minutes, that's awesome, because kids have a shorter, it's a little bit boring for a child. But if you buy this device, and I'm going to drop her link for you guys, everybody in the house can use it. Everybody, you don't need 8,000 devices, by the way. Everybody can download the app for free, and you can use your little thing, and there you go. Okay.
Right.
So it's about getting this in alignment in what we call coherence, and anti-aging or age rejuvenation centers are using HRV as a marker. It's becoming like this number might be more important than anything. It's being used for cardiac surgeries, transplant surgeries. If this number isn't high enough, they won't let you do it because the outcomes are not going to be good. So they're figuring this out. It's a very good tracker of your health status and how your heart is functioning and how it's communicating. And these two are really intimately connected. So let's